Alright guys, so obviously that's not the sound of a cammed LT1, or at least not a properly tuned cammed LT1. I'm kind of disappointed I have to make this video, but on the same note, I wanted to put it up there and kind of show you guys, I guess, what a broken LT1 sounds like. And this one came broken, unfortunately, from the factory. It wasn't something that I did, but I wanted to kind of go through the process of what exactly happened, my problem-solving process, and kind of what I narrowed it down to, and then the solution, which ended up being a cracked valve spring. But the car is broken. It sounded like a rod knock. So after I heard the car kind of start dying out, I started getting a flashing engine light as I was driving, and all of a sudden it just started running really rough. So I pulled over and I immediately started taking footage. So I'm gonna go ahead and play that footage now, let you guys hear. But the car sounded terrible. I'm gonna go ahead and play that clip. Let me know what you guys think. It's like bad gas.
It almost sounds like you're in limbo. Like last
dude, I don't know. Follow me home, and I'm gonna disconnect the battery and see if I can reset it, but this is weird. So as you can see, the car's struggling really bad to get started. Does not want to start, doesn't want to stay running. The idle is really rough, really choppy. And initially, I thought it was bad gas because I had just come from probably a 50-mile drive where I just topped off with a fresh tank of E85. And I was wondering, maybe there's water in the tank, maybe, you know, something happened, something else is in my tank. That's a potential possibility because of the rough idle is what I was thinking. So at this point, I wasn't thinking anything mechanical because when the car broke, I was just driving. I wasn't beating on it. I wasn't driving it harsh. I was just coasting along, and all of a sudden started bogging and crashing for the most part. The motor was just falling apart. It was weird. But my initial thought was bad gas, so I did drive the car home. I did, as you can hear in the video. Unfortunately, I revved it a little bit, which to see if it would change idle or anything. But I eventually ended up deciding to take the car home, which you'll see in this next clip. Fuel? My engine light's just flashing. This is weird. I wonder if it's bad gas.
It smelled weird coming off of the engine.
Did it? Huh? I think it's bad gas. So I personally think it sounded pretty good. I mean, if this car was cammed, that sounded pretty badass. As you can see, for a little bit it was chopping there. It sounded all right, but that's not how this car is supposed to sound. The engine's completely stock except for a few minor things, obviously. So at this point, like I said, I didn't know if it was my injectors, if it was something else. What I ended up doing that I didn't get on film was I drained about 5 gallons of fuel out of the fuel system. I pumped it out through that fuel line that's on top of the engine, and pumped that as much as I could, seeing if it was bad gas. Then I put 93 back in it and tried shaking the car up. I did drive it around a little bit, trying to cycle the gas through, which probably wasn't the best idea. But at this point, the car was still running decently, and it didn't sound like it was a rod knock because of the situation. And being that I was reading online that the engine light flashing meant that it was a misfire, I was assuming that, like I said, it was bad gas or a bad injector or something other than a rod knock. Because if it was a rod knock, I wouldn't have any power. It would sound a lot worse, I think, although it did sound pretty bad. So after contacting my tuner, we came to the conclusion that we should disconnect each one of the coil packs on the cylinders, and based off of that, if anything changed, if the idle changed, that meant that was a okay cylinder, that obviously it's getting fuel, it's getting all that stuff to help run. But if it didn't change, if nothing was unchanged by unplugging that coil pack, then that's obviously an issue, because the car should run way worse, and if nothing changes, that's my problem cylinder. So as you'll see, I went through and checked each individual cylinder, as you guys will see right now. We didn't have any diagnosis pulling out any of the coin that was in there, so I don't think it's water in the tank. Now we're going to go cylinder by cylinder and pull the wire to each coil and see if we can isolate the dead cylinder. Well, that one wasn't it. No difference. No difference in the engine. This one might be it. No difference in this one either. No, actually that one different. No difference. This is bad. There's actually multiple cylinders that are misfiring. No difference. That's a problem. So it's multiple cylinders. So as you can see, there were multiple cylinders where when I disconnected the coil packs, there was no difference, which really scared me, but also kind of gave me hope that it wasn't a bad cylinder or a rod knock or something like that because of the fact that there were multiple. Unless I bent multiple rods or fried multiple pistons, I don't know. Anything's possible, but at this point, I don't know what to do. I regrettably took it to the dealership, and that's when they found out that the car wasn't stock, which kind of poses a problem for myself, because now I have completely lost every single engine warranty, every powertrain warranty, anything on this car now is non-warrantyable because of that. So of course that was the phone call that I got back, was, did you know there's 85 in the system? Did you know this car was tuned? All this stuff, and you know, so I was going to have to pay for the damages. The good news is that it was my number 5 valve spring that had cracked, and even better, it cracked at the top, meaning that the valve wasn't able to travel down far enough to hit the piston. They put a scope in there and checked everything. It worked out to be perfectly fine. And even better, it only cost $250. So from the dealer, which usually is a lot more expensive, but in this case they cut me a deal. They were able to work with me since I had been a loyal customer and I'm in there all the time. So this was able to really work out well. And after that, it was fixed. It was perfect. The car ran great again, which I was shocked at. If I had known that it was just a cracked valve spring, I probably wouldn't able to do it in my driveway, which would have saved me a lot of money in the long run. But better safe than sorry, I guess, and that you should always take it to the dealership if you don't really know what's going on, or take it to a reputable shop that's close to you. But as always, I'm glad the car was okay. Like I said, I wanted to put this out there for you guys in case you had any problems with your car. It's making weird sounds if it's not running right. It could be a cracked valve spring, because what the dealership told me was that this is very uncommon on these cars, and they'd only seen 1 or 2 other cars come in with this exact problem. And even though the problem was unrelated to any of my modifications on the car, it was still unwarrantable because of the tune, because of the other modifications on it. So keep that in mind, guys, when you're tuning your cars. Keep that in mind if you have a problem like this. But as always, drop a comment below, like this video, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.